diamond problems. Let's get started. Solve the problem. Okay, so what we know so far from diamond problems is we know that this number and this number, which right now we're going to label as a question mark, this number and this number always times together is going to be this top section, and added together is going to be this section. So far we know that -3 times a number equals 6. Well, what we know is that a negative times a negative is always a positive. So -3 times this would be -2. So -3 times -2 equals 6. Added together, this would be -5. Now, let's go on to the next problem. Can a diamond have no solution? Yes, it can have no solution. For example, 0 times any number would always equal 0. It would never equal -4. So we know that this problem would have no solution. Because 0 times any number would always equal 0, and 0 plus any number would also just equal the number, but we know that from looking at this, it's wrong, and it has no solution. Let's go on to the next problem. Explain how you solved using fractions. Okay, so for 1/4 and 3/4, so what we have to figure out is what number times 1/4 equals 3/4. Well, we know that 3/4 is the same, 1/4 and 3/4 is the same as saying 3 of the fourths, so 3 times 1/4 would be 3/4. And added together, 3 and 1/4 would be 3 and 1/4. Let's go on to the next problem. Oh, well, to explain, you would say that by looking at 3/4 and 1/4, 3/4 is the same as saying 1/4 times 3. Let's go on to the next problem. Solve the problem. Okay, so again, we have our negatives and our positives. Our negative, so right now, the only information they're giving us is -24, not negative, +24 and -14. So if we know that this is going to be negative, we know that these two numbers are going to also be negative. And it works because negative times negative is a positive. So I'm going to say it's -12 and -2, because 12 times 2 is 24, and -12 times -2 is 24. And added together, they both equal -14. Let's go on to our next problem. Our last problem is to explain how a diamond works. So, as we've seen in all of our problems, we have our x and we have our y. Together, on the top, we have x times y. Because this number and this number multiplied together is this top section of the diamond. And we also know that this number, or this plus this, equals the sum. So, for this, I thought that modeling with mathematics, because I can clearly show my work using diagrams, words, symbols, and pictures. We are using our diamond, and we're using words explaining why it can have no solution, or explaining why we have fractions. And with this one, I can justify my strategies and evaluate ideas if others make sense. We can say, like, for example, our no solution. Some people say it doesn't make sense, whereas in this case, we know it makes sense because we explained it and we went back and we solved it. Thank you so much for listening.